Hello, everyone, and welcome back to day one of the EdTech Institute. We are so excited that you're joining us for this exclusive event. My name is Trent Lobsher. I'm a technology program specialist with the Educational Technology Department with the School District of Palm Beach County. Just before we get started, some housekeeping stuff. Go over a few things. Number one, this live stream is being recorded. It's going to be posted on our website at edtechtraining.palmbeachschools.org. When this is all said and done. And it's also going to be posted to our YouTube channel directly following the Institute. So as soon as the live stream is done, you can pretty much see it there archived. And we definitely encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I've always wanted to do this. Hit the subscribe button right there. And go ahead and like the video. Click that thumbs up for us. It really goes a long way in helping us out and getting all this information out there to teachers. And then also please follow us on Twitter at EdTechPBC. And if you want to share any of the fun from today, take a selfie in front of your computer or whatever, tweet with hashtag EdTechPBC and show everybody what a good time we're having here today. If you're curious about attendance, at the end of the session, we're going to have a sign-in. There's going to be a bit.ly link that you can click on to mark yourself as present for the day. And then on the right side of the screen, you should see the chat. Any questions that you have, just put them in the chat during the presentation. And we've got moderators. You've probably seen their names already. They pop up with a little blue wrench next to them, and they'll be answering your questions as they pop up. Speaking of the chat, let's get the conversation today going with a bit of a question. Sorry, it's already on the screen there. Basically tell us in the chat what you think it means to amplify student voice. And it's a very specific verbiage there. What does it mean to amplify student voice? So go ahead and type your answers in the chat and let's get those ideas going. Speaking of the chat, we are using something called Nightbot, and she'll flag you if you post too many capital letters, emojis, you spam the same thing over and over again, crazy exclamation points and stuff like that. So if you get flagged or something like that, she can be a little touchy sometimes when it comes to what she picks up on. And then lastly, make sure you stick around for the end because we're going to have two prizes that were generously gifted to us by Achieve 3000 and Renaissance. And we'll do a little drawing at the end using Nightbot to award those prizes. All right. So for today's session, right now, we've got Ann Kozma from Flipgrid. Coming up a little bit later today, we've got Robert Miller and Alicia Cooper with Brain Pop, and then at 3 o'clock, Kevin Honeycutt. So make sure that you come back and you don't miss those. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get started with our stellar presentation today. We have Ann Kozma from Flipgrid, and just a little bit about Ann. Ann is a former first grade teacher. She was a teacher on special assignment for Flipgrid. And she's now an educator, innovation lead and she lives in Fullerton, California. So all of that combined, what's really cool about Ann is that she is a teacher helping teachers, right? She's an educator here to help other educators and giving students the tools that they need to get those authentic student voices out there. That's what her message is all about. So looks like we've gotten some really good insight in the chat so far, but let's go ahead and let's pass the spotlight over to the expert herself. Hello, Ann.
Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, so I am loving the chat too. What folks are saying, allow students a platform to be heard, give the students the opportunity to share. I love that. As Trent mentioned, my name is Ann Kozma, and I'm one of the educator innovation leads on Team Flipgrid, coming to you live from just north of Miami, Florida. Even though I live in Southern California, I'm here with family, and I think I'm here for a while. So greetings to folks not only from Palm Beach City, but folks all over the world who are joining in to learn a little bit more about Flipgrid. I am a teacher helping teachers. That's my job. And to answer the question from the chat myself, when I think about student voice, to me, I think about providing pathways for our scholars to share, celebrate, and showcase their authentic voice for authentic audiences. So I'm excited to share a little bit more about Flipgrid with you. My goal for the next little bit of time is actually to share some slides in a slide deck and have hopefully a play to learn and push buttons experience. And then I'm going to go live into the Flipgrid platform and show you what the workflow looks like if you're just getting started. So definitely feel free to use the chat. I know the moderators are going to answer questions, and I've told my friends John and Trent to hop in, interrupt me if there are questions that make sense in the moment to get started. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and they're going to switch over. So awesome. Thank you again for inviting me to come share as we talk about what it means to engage, empower, amplify, and connect every scholar with Flipgrid. We do use the hashtag Flipgrid for all. So if you're sharing on social, please feel free to do that. But I simply want to start by saying thank you. Thank you from one teacher's heart to another. If you're in the classroom, or if you're an administrator, a specialist in a unique role, amplifying students, supporting the education community, thank you on behalf of all of Team Flipgrid. We're inspired every single day by the heart and hustle that you bring to your job as you empower every voice. So we love to start simply by saying thank you. This is me on my first grade picture as Ann Kozma, but definitely feel free to get connected with me on social. I'm at Ann Kozma 723. So I work on the Flipgrid engagement team, and that means my role is to be a teacher helping teachers. I work alongside Jess and Jornay. We're the three educators on the team, but we have the great privilege of working with Joey and Adam and George to support you. So please do not hesitate to reach out if we can help in any way. And we love sharing the mission of Flipgrid. This has been our steadfast mission from the beginning, but it is to empower every learner on the planet to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. And as we work together to increase awareness, we definitely feel that we can build global empathy. To me, this is a better together mindset, and I love sharing the mission as I get started about talking what Flipgrid is. So if you've heard of Flipgrid a little bit before, you know it is an asynchronous video communication platform. But we believe in empowering every voice, and we love to think that this is a pathway you can provide your scholars to share their unique voice as well. Our good friend Desiree Alexander said, if social media and students that are learning had a baby, it would be Flipgrid. So if you think of those authentic tools your scholars are using to share their real life with friends and family, bring it into an academic setting or bring it into a real life storytelling setting, and that's Flipgrid. So another educator said, Flipgrid is simple, authentic, and too much fun. And as we talk about how to get started with Flipgrid, I want you to know it's meant to be simple, it's meant to be fun, and it's meant to provide you as a creative way to empower your scholars. So you simply start by creating a grid. You can think of that as your classroom, a class period, any group of students you want to engage in an activity. And those activities or assignments or individual discussion prompts, we call those topics. And then the magic happens when students share their voice. So Flipgrid is 100% free. We joined forces with Microsoft about 2 years ago, and they released it free for everybody on the planet. So it is free, it will remain free, and you can get started simply by going to flipgrid.com. But as I mentioned, you start when you create a grid. And I am going to go into the platform and show you what this looks like live, but I want to explain it before we go there. A grid is your classroom, as mentioned. You think of it as a place for your students, your personal learning community, your staff, your school, anybody who you choose to engage in that conversation. And you as the educators always remain in control of who has access to that grid community. And then you simply add topics, and topics are those discussion prompts. They're the themes or challenges. I like to think about them as they're those individual assignments, if you will. And you can extend those topics by adding in unique topic attachments that extend the learning opportunities, whether that's something like a Google slide deck or a YouTube video or a OneDrive file, any kind of thing that you want to extend that learning conversation. And then we mentioned the magic happens when students share. They simply respond to topics by creating and uploading these short, authentic videos. They can use the creative tools embedded within the Flipgrid camera and just have fun sharing their unique voice. So As a teacher on special assignment in Fullerton, California, I talked with the teachers that I worked with all the time about learning goals. And some of you in your own school and learning communities might have discussions with your colleagues about the ISTE standards. And if you look on screen right now, it's showing the ISTE standards for students as knowledge constructors. And let's think about that for a second. What does it mean when we as educators provide those digital tools to help our scholars construct knowledge or produce those creative artifacts and make meaningful learning experiences? Talking with John and Trent before the show, I let them know in my own first grade classroom, I used every kind of device, starting with the iPod Touch first generation that did not have a camera on the device. And we plugged in these little tiny microphones, and I let my scholars read books to develop their oral language fluency and talk about their authentic reading lives. And I saw this complete transformation in my own students as they invested ownership in a new way, the effort they put into their work in a completely transformed way, and the interest they took in their learning. So I love that Flipgrid does provide creative pathways for your students to demonstrate their own skills as knowledge constructors. Additionally, when we think about living in a world where we have access to digital tools, what does that mean when we provide opportunities for our students to become global collaborators? How can we use these digital tools with learners from a variety of backgrounds and cultures and engage in meaningful ways to broaden that understanding? And it goes back to respecting the diverse voices of others. And we've shifted into these remote learning situations over the last handful of months as folks around the world were impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. But that's really challenged us as well as educators to think about what it looks like for us as facilitators of learning. So on the screen, you see this ISTE standard for educators, where we foster a culture where students take ownership of their learning and their goals, both in independent and group settings. So friends, as we dig into this, please know, as we explore Flipgrid, there is no right or wrong way to do it. We love to think there are endless use cases. And my good friend and colleague, Jornay, says, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. So whether it's an introduction or an icebreaker, sharing an aha moment or a reflection, or digging into a figurative language smackdown or quote analysis from a piece of literature, virtual art shows, study groups, inviting guest speakers in, sharing a virtual yearbook signing or graduation celebration, there is no right or wrong way to use Flipgrid. So if you're wondering what this looks like, we're going to do a little experiment and have some playtime together, all right? I mentioned that you simply go to flipgrid.com to get started. And if you are working on a mobile device right now and you want to download the free Flipgrid app from the Android or iOS store, you're welcome to do that. If you're on a computer or laptop and you want to navigate to flipgrid.com, you can also do that. But I'm going to challenge folks for a play to learn experience. And I'm actually going to only do this for a brief moment. So if you want to go to a new tab or a browser window and type in flipgrid.com/408-30315 or launch the free Flipgrid app and type in that flip code 408-30315. What this is, it's simply an example of a grid you can play and push buttons and have your own learning experience while I talk through some things. You'll notice on the screen, it says notice and wonder, and there's a photograph that says, what do you notice about this picture and what do you wonder? So friends, definitely feel free to go respond. And as I mentioned, there is no right or wrong answer. There is no right or wrong way to do this. You'll see other responses from a different conference I recently connected with. That's my little mom in the picture. And I captured that photograph at the Field Museum in Chicago a few years ago. But I love using it simply as an example of how you could engage an audience in a conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and advance to the next screen. Friends in the background, if you want to leave that banner up for just a moment, folks are welcome to navigate there and try this. But I want to ask already, Can you see potential for possibly how you could use Flipgrid to engage your learning community in conversations, whether it has an academic focus, a shared experience? Friends, we have incredible conversations happening in the world right now related to race and equality and justice. And I wanted to let you know we have incredible new resources coming soon on the Flipgrid platform to support those conversations. But when you as an educator use Flipgrid, you create that space and you facilitate all kinds of conversations day in and day out, whether it's in a classroom contained four walls or in a remote learning situation. So I love that in the comments already, folks are saying, yes, the whiteboard, the stickers, possibilities. You can even collaborate with fellow educators. So think about what we do as educators. We bridge from school to home. But as we've all shifted in the last few months, we're now bridging from home to school. And this is one way, using an asynchronous platform, you can continue your community, regardless of a geographic location, regardless of a time zone, family schedules, etc. So I'm excited to now share some examples from the community. And on the screen, you're just going to see some pictures from educators and so many unique and creative ways that they've used Flipgrid over the last handful of months to empower their learning community. And I love that Teresa Schrader shared this masked singer where they used the emoji sticker overlay. They stepped out of their comfort zones and sang behind an emoji. We saw so many school and learning communities around the world take on a masked singer, a tiny talent show, virtual talent shows, and just empowered creativity in new ways. I love sharing this example from Mike Mohammed. He's an AP physics teacher at a high school, and he is showing in his tweet some incredible examples of how you can use the whiteboard feature and have students upload their own photographs as images, add text, and live annotations to explain complex scenarios with those forces and dynamics. Mike also has a really awesome example where he was teaching sound waves and did a partnership with a kindergarten class where his high school students and his collaborative kindergarten buddies created music and talked about the science of music. This awesome example from Katie Wardrobe, she is an educator, is creating videos using the Flipgrid whiteboard where she uploaded some text boxes and used a sticker emoji as a pointer and literally had bouncing ball videos. I recreated this with a phonics lesson, teaching diagraphs for students, and simply recorded myself while I moved one emoji on the screen to act as a bouncing ball. Additionally, this is another educator from here in South Florida who created a decision day to celebrate those milestone moments for her graduating seniors who are launching to college and career and beyond. So going back to the idea that there is no right or wrong way to use Flipgrid, I'm simply sharing these ideas to hopefully give you some brain zings and see possibilities for what you could do. My boss, Joey, shared this really fun idea for Pictionary, also known as, maybe Fliptionary, where he's combining the whiteboard and the drawing tool. And this could be for academic vocabulary or concepts that you're teaching in a content area. The photograph in the middle simply shows the power of the pause button in Flipgrid to create stop motion videos. Start, stop. Start, stop, and you can create a stop motion video. Now, the photograph on the right of Kathy Kersnowski, who's an awesome friend from New Jersey, she came up with this whole idea of Flipmoji scenes, where she's literally just using emoji to create these fantastical scenarios. But again, this could be a creative writing prompt. It could be a way to support academic vocabulary. It could be a way for students to express oral language fluency as they talked about something. We've seen examples from outer space, from a scientist's laboratory. Again, when we say if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it, I mean it. And so I, as a visual learner myself, love sharing examples that hopefully help you see new possibilities. Additionally, here's another example of you don't even have to be on camera for this. On the left, that says it's Flipgrid time. Where are you at? Who are you with? Randall Sampson was creating rap videos and musical expression, but nobody is on camera. Or in the center photograph, I used the pixel filter to disguise myself, and whether that's for a classroom introduction or a mystery book talk or even a mystery element, you could use those filters in so many creative ways. The photograph on the right shows educator Andy Knieven using Flipgrid Shorts, which is embedded in your educator account simply as a place where you as teachers can create your own videos. But he creates his own teaching videos and shows science experiments and teaches and then shares the link to that video for his classroom. Many folks ask what this could look like in different ways. And I saw an example from a community center in Lincoln, Nebraska, that when the COVID-19 pandemic really began, they shifted their in-person programming to a completely digital programming housed only on Flipgrid. And you can see with the example on the screen, that's one grid, that's one topic. And all I did was use the link feature in my topic prompt, and I linked to other grids so that it's sort of like one flip code to rule them all. And if anybody wants to check that out, you can simply go to flipgrid.com/classroom723. Additionally, there's the next piece of our interactive session. Many of you might be familiar with QR codes and how QR codes link to other content. And in Flipgrid, every response that is added to a grid automatically has a QR code created for it. But last summer at ISTE, we announced Flipgrid AR, which stands for Augmented Reality. And when you launch the Flipgrid app on your mobile device, you will see the option to, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this on screen. You will see the option to click on a red button that says Scan Flipgrid QR. Yeah, I'll go ahead and show that one more time. Right here on the screen, you simply click on that pink button that says Scan Flipgrid QR. And friends, when you use the Flipgrid app to scan a Flipgrid QR code, you're going to be able to view that video in augmented reality. So we're going to try that. Please know if you use your mobile device and you have a native camera that will scan a QR code, or if you use a QR code reader app, it will still play the video. But when you scan the QR code from within the Flipgrid app, you will view that video in augmented reality. So I want to show a few examples of what this looks like. Jenna Simpson used Flipgrid QR codes to explain station directions in her classroom. So you can see it's right there on the board, and students can walk up and listen to the teacher reinforce the skill or the concept, and it's right there. Additionally, another very powerful example comes from this educator, Stacy Kennedy, and she used Flipgrid AR QR codes to support her students who were creating American Sign Language comic books. So students illustrated their comic books, and then when you scan the QR code, you can zoom in and see that ASL interpretation of the text from the page. What a powerful way to empower every unique voice in your classroom. Sometimes voice is silent. Sometimes voice comes through in dance. Sometimes voice displayed in art, American Sign Language, every unique way. And so the possibilities are endless for how you could use a Flipgrid AR code in your own classroom or community. And I want to give you a moment to try this. So on the screen, you're going to see a Flipgrid AR code, and I would love for you to have the opportunity to scan this. Again, simply launch the Flipgrid app, click on that button that says Scan Flipgrid QR, and you'll see a surprise video from me from one of my favorite places on planet Earth. And we'll leave this up here for just a moment and let folks have that opportunity. If not, if you're looking for additional information, I will drop some resources in the chat later, but blog.flipgrid.com/FlipgridAR is another great resource for you to use to learn more about Flipgrid augmented reality. All right, friends, at this point, I know we have about 14 minutes left in my session, and I know I love to talk and can be very wordy, but I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment, and I'm actually going to go live into the platform right now. So let's go ahead, and one more time, I'm going to shift over, and friends should see this now. I'm going to exit out of my presentation. Here we go, and come right over to flipgrid.com. And if you've never scrolled down on this page, definitely feel free to, friends. We have a ton of resources linked and shared for you. But right here, you see all of these selfies, all of these smiles. This is what a grid looks like. And you can see every unique smile and every unique selfie represents a voice being shared in that community. But I simply want to say, if you are getting started, remember Flipgrid is 100% free, and it's a way for you to share, for educators, for learners, for families, for scholars, to engage and empower every voice in classroom, at school, and beyond with those short, awesome videos. You can simply get started. Educator sign up. It is completely free. And I'm going to go ahead and, instead of clicking on educator login, I'm already in my account, and I want to do a quick walkthrough and show you how simple it is to get started. So friends, across the top, you're going to see my activity, my grids, mixtapes, grid pals, the disco library, and shorts. And you see already, let me go ahead and do a quick refresh on here, because I don't know why that says 0 grids. I have lots of grids. Maybe, let's see, I hope my internet is not conking out on me right here. I'm going to go ahead and try one other screen. If not, it's okay. I'm going to walk through it. Here we go. So back in my account, you see I have 125 grids, and every grid represents a different classroom. You can see the titles: conference demo, today, my classroom grid, help desk, reading at home, math at home, and 125 different grids for different content areas. But if you were to get started, this is how simple it is to create a grid. You simply give it a name, ABC sample, and then you select a grid type. Now, the majority of you are utilizing a Microsoft or Google school email domain, and I would encourage you, if you have a school domain, use that grid type. If your students do not use email addresses, or you don't have a school domain, use the student ID grid type, which means you can manually roster your students or upload a CSV file to do that with a click of a button. Additionally, if you want to share a public grid with fellow educators in your own learning network, encourage you to use that educator learning community. But I'm going to show you real quick how simple it is to set up a school email domain. Notice you get a flip code automatically created for you. Palm Beach City sample. I'm going to go ahead and customize that so it's even more unique and memorable for my learning community. When I click next, notice I simply need to add the domain that I or my students use and will use to join the grid. So for example, I'm going to type in flipgrid.com, but I want to point out, if your students have an STU at the beginning of it, or they have a different domain, be sure to add that. John, what's up? How's it going?
That's exactly what I was just going to tell you. For our district in Palm Beach, you have to make sure you type in the @stu.palmbeachschools.org, so that way your students can access this. Otherwise, you'll lock them out of this grid and they won't be able to answer. So otherwise, there is some amazing stuff in the chat, and they just they're excited to learn how to continue to make their grids. So
awesome, I love it, and I'm glad that you popped in. And I point that out because if your students have a different domain than the educators, definitely be sure to add them both. And you see that quick reminder on the screen. You can add multiple domains. If you were to collaborate with a school on the other side of the world and you and the educator wanted both of the domains in there, you could definitely do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click next and show you that your grid is ready. An introduction topic was automatically added for you, but all you have to do is kickstart that discussion. So notice you can simply copy and paste that URL, whether you're using something like Seesaw or Class Dojo, copy and paste and share into any communication platform. Or you can grab that embed code. You can share it directly to Microsoft Teams. You can share it to Google Classroom or even a communication tool like Remind. So I'm going to go ahead and click Go to Grid and show you now, here's my grid. There's that introductory topic that's already been added. And friends, when you add a new topic, it's quite simple. Remember, these are those individual discussion prompts. You simply give it a title, say hello, add a question or stimulus text, and this can be as simple or as sophisticated as you want it to be. And share one fact about yourself. All right, I love using emojis to create emoji bullet point lists. Now, listen, you can adjust the recording time from 15 seconds anywhere to 10 minutes and choose accordingly of whatever matches the learning goal you have for the topic. Educators, I want to point out, and friends, if you are using this and you want to turn on video moderation, this means that you as the educator, you as the grid owner, must activate the videos before they're public on the grid. Perhaps you're using this for a formative assessment tool or an inbox or a help desk, and you want that video to remain private between you and your student. Simply turn on video moderation, all right? Additionally, you have the option to add media resources to engage your student. And that could be recording a video, uploading a video, adding a video, an image, a Giphy, or even an emoji. And I'm going to go ahead and just very quickly add an emoji. No, let's say I change my mind and I go ahead and delete that. I also have all of these additional resources. And I know my friend Tanya shared about Adobe Spark earlier, so perhaps you're adding an Adobe Spark post or video, a resource from Wonderopolis, Bunsey, Newsela, Nearpod, Wakelet, Kahoot, Google, or Microsoft. Again, you have so many options for what you can add as a media resource to engage your students. So I'm going to go ahead and come back with this. Now, friends, that's it. It's that simple. There are more options if you want to dig in and further customize your grid. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and click Create Topic and show you this screen again. Now, if you've noticed it already, yep, you had the option to share a flip code to a grid. Now you have a shortcut right to that topic. Again, copy and paste and share it to your community, and then have your students begin to add their voice. So I'm going to go ahead and click All Set. And notice there are no responses. I, as the educator, don't have any. But what I'm going to do is actually show you, again, I created a grid called PBC Sample. So if I were to go to flipgrid.com or launch the app and type in PBC Sample, I get to my grid. And it says, join the grid by using your school email. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with mine real quick. And here I am on the grid. Now notice, say hello, there's my topic. And I'm going to do a very quick demo in about 30 seconds and show you also the immersive reader, which is a powerful way that you can amplify student voice, support them with visual, auditory supports, whether it's changing the font size, high contrast, low contrast, turning on syllabication, identifying parts of speech, or utilizing a translation tool, all right? There's also a picture dictionary that's embedded. So imagine supporting your scholars, whether there's a visual need or a language acquisition support, they simply click on that blue button. All right, here comes the world's fastest demonstration of the creative possibilities, whether you're changing a filter or adding some text and moving it and manipulating it on the screen as much or as little text as you want, adding an emoji, and recording your response. Hey, The possibilities are endless, as simple or as sophisticated as you want it to be. And John, check this out. I'm simply going to go through and I'm going to take my selfie. And oops, I didn't click the button. And I'm going to go ahead and submit it and show you. Now it's visible in the topic and all of those responses come in. So we are going fast, fast, fast. But the beauty is there's tons of possibilities, right? And you've seen this already in your own community, John, as folks in Palm Beach City have started to use Flipgrid, right?
Yeah. No, I was just asking, a lot of the questions came around the whiteboard app. Is there a whiteboard inside of that when you're doing the response?
There absolutely is. So you can toggle on a blackboard or a whiteboard. You can even annotate live on the screen while you are recording or before you record or after you record. So you simply toggle between a whiteboard and a blackboard. You can even upload your own photographs as stickers. And John, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but when you click on those three dots, there is even a screen recorder feature built into Flipgrid. So imagine you have a Google slide deck or a PowerPoint or some other thing you've created or a website tool you want to share, anything, you can use the screen recorder to capture that desktop or browser tab. You could upload your own videos if they've been shared in a different creation tool and created there, but imported into Flipgrid. You can even toggle off the ability to record with audio, perhaps create a paper slide video, a silent stop motion video, tons of possibilities. So,
and I'm just going to hop into real quick a lot of questions about safety, security, obviously, for our students, for Palm Beach County. And yes, anytime Ann is referencing Palm Beach City, yes, that's Palm Beach County. We understand it's just a different kind of word because of where she lives. We have the county system down here. But just so you know, in Palm Beach County, we have it so that Flipgrid is part of our Microsoft agreement because Microsoft owns Flipgrid. It is a part of that agreement now. So all of their stuff is just like all of the Microsoft 365 stuff. Also, you notice, I know some people tried to join that PBC sample that you just made and they weren't able to get in. And that's also the security feature. She did not allow you from at palmbeachschools.org to join that grid. So those are security features built in. And then on top of that, we definitely encourage that moderation piece as well so that you have all of those features available. So go ahead, Ann. You have a couple more minutes. I'll let you go.
Yeah, John, I'm so glad that you brought that up. And so, friends, what he was describing is how you as the educator always remain in control of who joins the grid. And because I have my grid set up as a school email and you do not have a flipgrid.com or this stu.flipgrid, that doesn't even exist. But if I were to switch it now to an educator learning community grid, I am accepting that now I am making it public to the world and anybody can join with their Google or Microsoft email address. So now that I've updated that, you could simply use that flip code PBC sample, and now all of you have the option to add to that grid. And check this out. I created that say hello grid, but let's say now, here's an example of my student video. When I click into it, I, as the educator, have the opportunity to add video feedback private to my student, written feedback. I have a few different ways that I can share that feedback. Additionally, I can go in and make some minor edits, adding a vibe, which is like a featured comment, changing a display name, double checking the email address, adding a title or a link if needed. But notice, additionally, some of these buttons I have on my educator side, I can get a private share link to this individual video. I can get that Flipgrid AR code. There's my timer reminding me to give you time because I know presents are coming up, prizes, right? Friends, there are so many buttons I would encourage you to push. Our development team, our design team, they created this for you to push buttons. But John mentioned that security feature, and I could even go in and edit my topic and turn on video moderation, which means I, as the educator, must approve them before they become public. So I'm going to go ahead and just update that. And now one more time, if I were to go there, I'm going to see if anybody has added anything to this, right? Oh, hey, John D. Shout out to you. He's gone in, he's pushing buttons and playing to learn. Friends, definitely feel free. Go to flipgrid.com, type in PBC sample. All right. Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the comments right now too, looking at audio feedback. A great idea for that is to simply use that whiteboard and have the whiteboard on screen, add an emoji or a sticker, and there's your audio feedback. Currently, there's not an audio only feature, but I use it all the time to create examples when I upload stickers or my own photographs and use that whiteboard or Blackboard mode. So John and Trent, if there are any questions, I know I've gone through a ton of stuff, but I'd love to kind of just shift right now and address some other questions as we're coming close to time.
Let's see if we've got anything that's kind of reoccurring in the chat. I'm not sure if they know that there are door prizes coming, so they're all trying to get in there.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of the questions were security related. So if you're in Palm Beach, it's definitely approved. You're allowed to use it with your students. There's lots of resources. Flipgrid has stuff everywhere. Teachers everywhere are sharing those ideas. All those tweets you saw in Anne's presentation at the beginning, those are all teachers. So if you go onto Twitter and search the hashtag Flipgrid for all, that's where you're going to get your help. Tweet out there, how do I do this in Flipgrid? There are guides online. Hop into Google and say Flipgrid help or Flipgrid PDFs and look at all the documentation.
And John or Trent, if you want to share my screen one more time, what I was simply going to say is on the Flipgrid website, right at the top, you'll notice there's a button that says resources. So if you click on that right at flipgrid.com, you're going to find not only supports for remote learning, getting started guides. We do Flipgrid professional development, link to our help center, integration docs, which are great and content specific. But I want to point out that on behalf of Jess, Journey, and myself, we're the 3 teachers on the team. This actually is a video that you can watch of a previous session over at the PD page, but our contact to get connected on social as well as email, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I mentioned at the beginning, I'm a teacher helping teachers, and I love the idea that we're better together. So please feel free to connect on social or send me an email. I will gladly be a think tank, a brainstorm partner, share ideas and resources. And that's what educators do. We help each other because we're in this for our students to make everything better for them. So thank you so much for joining today and inviting me to share about Flipgrid. And thanks for joining the session, friends. I appreciate it.
And thank you so much for being with us and sharing this wonderful resource with us. And I know that there are a lot of people that are excited to get out and try some of these things, the whiteboard, the AR. And we all really love those photos of you in first grade and your mom at the museum. That was lovely. So we're about to go ahead and make some new friends by giving some credit here to our business partners who have generously gifted us with some prizes to pass on to you all. So make sure that you're still here in the chat. Obviously, we can only ship to the United States. You can only win once. So if you already won this morning, so sorry, you can't double dip. And then I know that the chat's been going crazy. So today we have a $25 Amazon gift card. And this is granted to us by or from Achieve 3000. And we have I believe it's pronounced Ogio backpack. It's a swag bag that was given to us by Renaissance. So hopefully we've got some winners being chosen here pretty soon. Again, I mean, these are all just really great business partners that are coming out and really supportive of us getting this information to all of you. So it's we're genuinely grateful for their help and involvement in what we're doing here at EdTech.
All right, so let's go real quick. The first one is the $25 Amazon gift card. Erica just chose the winner now. It's going. We're just waiting for Nightbot with all the different chats going on. It takes a second for it to fire off.
Sure thing. While that's looks like there's a winner.
Vera Boschetter is the winner of the $25 gift card.
Hey, hey, hey!
Congrats,
and,
Vera.
And then Eric, if you'll pull the second name for us. Trent, you had something to say?
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and there's our second winner there.
Ellen Vayu is our second winner. Congrats, Ellen. We will definitely be in touch. Please be in touch with Dana Rubenstein. Please make sure you email her immediately as soon as you can.
Yep.
Go ahead, Trent.
And so here is the attendance form for the session. It's the same one that we've been using at the other sessions. Make sure that you click in, tell us a little bit about what you learned, and make sure that you stick around for the upcoming session. But first, thank you to the entire educational technology training team and all of the team in the educational technology department. We're lucky to have such a great team putting this stuff together. And then don't forget to join the next session. We've got an excellent session coming up with Brain Pop, and then that starts in about 14 minutes. We're running a little bit over, and I just want to say thank you, Anne, so much. Thank you again for coming today and sharing this all with us. We are so lucky to have you, because this was just some awesome stuff.
Well, you're welcome. And I know it's a lot in a short amount of time, so we definitely slow it down in our own getting started sessions. Remember, flipgrid.com, and you can link to everything you need, including resources. Thank you again for the chance to come and share. And thanks to every educator out there for all you're doing to support your students everywhere. So thank you. Right
on. Thanks, Anne. And that's it, guys. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and that you tweet out with hashtag EdTechPBC, and what's that? Flipgrid for all.
Yep, you got it. Right.